wildcard weekend. This weekend's going to be a lot of fun. A lot's happening. And we kick things off with an epic rivalry when Lamar Jackson, that means it was a real laugh, and the Ravens, who are heavy favorites, so it's Russell Wilson and the Steelers. A lot on the line for both quarterbacks Saturday night. Jackson has struggled against the Steelers in his career, but his last game against them was his best, as he threw 3 touchdowns in a 34-17 win just 3 weeks ago. Danny O, talk to me. How confident are we that Lamar Jackson's going to get to a Super Bowl this year?
Most confident I've ever been in Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Oh, Lord. Most confident. They've
Scale
got
of 1 to 10.
A 9.9.
Wow.
If I had to pick one team that I truly in my gut thought would go to Kansas City and beat Kansas City, it is Baltimore this year. As much as I believe in the Buffalo Bills, and I do think it's a 3-team race. Number one, it's the best season Lamar's ever had. There's no debate about that. It's historically impressive what he's done. I think the second thing is he finally has a true running mate, both behind him and next to him, that makes this offense dynamically impossible to stop. Zay Flowers, first Pro Bowl receiver that the Ravens have ever drafted, and I know he's unlikely to play this weekend. Derrick Henry, Lamar and Derrick Henry combined have almost 3,000 yards rushing. They've got 2 Defensive Player of the Year candidates on defense, a top 5 offensive line. They got the second best run game in football. This is the most complete football team, the most balanced football team that Lamar's had. They got a defense ever since Kyle went back to safety, the number 1 defense in the NFL. I've never been more confident in Lamar's ability, but also Lamar's mindset to go get it done.
I think that's an utterly ridiculous opinion on the part of Dan Orlovsky, and I don't think the American public should listen to him in regards to this particular subject. And I'm talking to a man that I believe is brilliant when it comes to football, but he's got a soft spot for quarterbacks, and he especially has a soft spot when it comes to Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, listen, I understand how great he has looked this year. I understand we're talking about a 2-time league MVP who could be a 3-time league MVP, for crying out loud. He might win this year as well, because it's really, really close with him, Josh Allen, to a lesser degree Saquon Barkley. I think Nick Sirianni ruined that for him when he didn't let him play the last game of the season, and he didn't eclipse the all-time single-season rushing record. But I'm going to say this, 32% completion of his passes under pressure in his postseason career, okay? 5 or 6 playoff games that he's played in, he scored under 20 points. You're talking about that Lamar Jackson that we've seen play incredibly well during the regular season, but all of a sudden in the postseason, he doesn't seem to be the same guy. I understand looking at his regular season. If you say based on what we've seen in the regular season, this is our belief in him. But considering the fact that he's been great in the regular season before, but he hasn't been great in the postseason, don't I reserve the right, and don't others reserve the right to see it, to believe it? When you got Josh Allen, when you got Patrick Mahomes.
That's like my pet peeve.
That's what it is. Or, excuse me, what's your pet peeve?
When people say I got to see it to believe it. It means literally you're doing nothing.
Career 16
You have to
points.
project,
prognosticate, project, whatever. I don't have to do that with him. The fact is this.
The point of your job, literally.
16 points per game in his postseason career.
Yes, sir.
All right? Lowest for any quarterback named NFL MVP in the Super Bowl era.
Yes,
this is what we have seen.
Yes, sir.
So all I'm saying is, I got to see it.
From you.
It's not
I'm going to let you go before I dunk on him.
Right. So first of all, in terms of the
LeBron.
turnovers, which have been a thing that have plagued him in his postseason, he's got, 9 turnovers, 6 of those interceptions. Having one of the best seasons that he's had in terms of protecting the ball, 4 interceptions. And honestly, if you take a look at maybe 2, 3 of those, totally not his fault. But Dan nailed it. It's not about Lamar. It's about the fact that this is the most complete and balanced team that he has ever had in the postseason.
Correct.
They are always number 1. When they're entering the postseason, they're always the number 1 rushing team. I think one year they were number 2. But there's a difference. Let me read for you their last few years.
So do
in
I.
2019,
It's just on the laptop.
they were 27th in passing. In 2020, they were last in passing. In 2022, they were 28th in passing. And last year, they were 21st. Do you know what they are in passing this year?
I'm going to take a guess. 6th.
They're 7th in passing this year. And on top of that, ask the 2019 Titans how integral Derrick Henry is to winning postseason games. In fact, ask the 2019 Ravens, who he put 200 yards on in that divisional game to get them to the conference championship. Derrick Henry is the difference maker. And honestly, as bad as they played last year against the Chiefs, it was Todd Monken trying to get too cute and literally go against everything that got them there. And that's the reason that they lost that part of the game.
Hold on. We're all prepared. We're all prepared. Fact of the matter is, you want to go that route, 2-4 record, 57 completion percentage, 9 touchdowns,
Are we having
6
like a
passes, 3
stat off
runs,
right
9
now?
turnovers, 26 sacks, a 75.7 passer rating, and 6 starts, 6. Listen, here's the deal, y'all. Are you ready for this?
Yes, sir.
I get your numbers. I get where you're coming from, Elle. Beautifully eloquent, very eloquent in your delivery. Absolutely, no question. But here's the problem. Last time I checked, isn't Todd Monken still the offensive coordinator?
Yes, sir.
Didn't he fail to give the ball, to put the ball in somebody's hands other than Lamar Jackson?
Yes, sir.
Didn't we have losses this season where he failed to give the ball to Derrick Henry when he should have? I'm just saying.
No.
Yes?
No.
I mean, yes?
No.
There have been times this season when we looked at Derrick Henry and we said he should have had the ball more?
No.
We never did that.
That's the low-hanging fruit every time.
No, you can't say no.
It's the low-hanging fruit all the time.
Did it happen? Are you sitting here with a straight face and saying that the decisions that Todd Monken has made, game after game after game, has been pristine? That there's been no issue with the offense?
No, because no one's perfect, but the low-hanging fruit is always Ravens lost. Derrick Henry didn't run the ball.
Orlovsky, see, this is the only part that I regret about you opening your mouth is there's moments like this where I should have called for your comments on NFL Live, because I watch, bro. I watch. I see some of the things that you said. I see some of the things that you said months ago, and it's not consistent with what you're saying
it's
now.
It's 100% consistent.
It is not consistent with what you're saying right now. In the end, I got to think and I got to hope that Todd Monken gives the ball to Derrick Henry. He doesn't make this about Lamar Jackson, because when it's been made about Lamar Jackson, come postseason time, the results have ended up with him being home. And you're saying this year is going to be different because of the personnel around him. But we've complained about the Baltimore Ravens not utilizing the personnel around Lamar Jackson time after time after time again.
Okay, so my number one question that I have for you is that you just rattled off all those stats that are awesome over the past years of Lamar struggling in the postseason, not meeting to their kind of regular season performance. How many games in those numbers, or how many times did they play in those postseason games with Derrick Henry?
With Derrick Henry, none.
Zero.
Zero.
So how are we not evaluating the addition of a Hall of Fame back and that impacting the postseason performance? You are.
No.
I don't give a rat's rear end about the postseason performance of Lamar in this offense in the past. Because they added a Hall of Fame running back.
Come on, I was looking for you the other day. What happened when Sam Darnold wet the bed, right?
I was here.
Oh, wait a minute. I was looking for you. No. I was looking for you because you know what? You didn't say you couldn't stay long. You couldn't stay long. You couldn't stay like you stayed today. You had other things to do because you couldn't deal with the tsunami and stuff that was going to rain down upon you. Here's what happened with Sam Darnold. The week before, Elle, you know this doing Sports Center the way you do it, girl. Here's the deal. Sam Darnold and the Vikings beat the Green Bay Packers. And they showed up in the locker room, hoisted them on their shoulders. Yeah. They're throwing water, shit, whatever the hell you call it. And I looked at you. Next day, and I'm sitting there like, what have they won? Did they win a division title? No. Did they win a playoff game? No. What's all of that about? Is it about the fact that he's on a one-year deal for $10 million and that he's about to get paid because of the way that he's played during this regular season? You still got to win that division. Detroit had 13 dudes on the defensive side of the ball on the injured reserve, and they still spanked them, held them to 9 points. One thing to lose. It's another thing to get held to 9 points. Okay, can't even get a touchdown. All of these things were happening.
Yes,
and
sir.
I said to you, when the moment arrives, that's when you find out about people. That's what I'm looking for with Lamar Jackson and these playoffs. With Josh Allen, with Patrick Mahomes, what you gonna do when you got them brothers on the other side of the sidelines waiting
Okay,
for
so
you?
you're saying the jury's still out because you haven't seen it from Lamar Jackson.
That's fair. I'm not going to debate that Lamar's got to go do it.
I'm saying.
But the question was, are you confident in him?
With Lamar.
And
Y'all a whole bunch of stuff about
let me
Baltimore.
be very clear. It's the most confident I've ever been in Lamar to go get it done. Okay. And I voted for him to win MVP last year.
Okay.
You're not concerned about the Zay Flowers knee injury and
Absolutely I am.
Okay.
He's a 1,000-yard receiver. He's their best one-on-one, go-get-a-bucket receiver. No question. This is the second best run game in football. Bateman's had a sensational year. Mark Andrews looks like Mark Andrews from 3 years ago. Lamar Jackson is Lamar.
Okay.
Lamar's phenomenal.
I think it's a positive sign that Lamar is acknowledging. Like before, he very defiantly, I remember after that Chiefs loss last year, right? Like he was very defiant and almost agitated at the response and the questions about whether, I like sort of the culpability that he's taken this week where he's like, I've not been playing my best. I'm sort of seeing ghosts. I'm seeing things that aren't there. I'm way too antsy. I'm way too anxious. But again, I go back to the fact, and it's totally fair, by the way. Like it is a totally fair assessment to say, I need to see it because I haven't seen it. I saw a stat on on ESPN that I thought was so wild to me. There's been 40 quarterbacks that have played at least 3 playoff games since ESPN started counting the metric of total QBR back in 2006. His drop-off, Lamar's drop-off in that metric from the regular season to the postseason is one of the worst, only better than Andy Dalton. So it's totally fair to say, Lamar, we haven't seen it, but you can't discount how huge of an additive Derrick Henry is. They average 5.76 yards per carry. Stephen A., that is the best in the history. of the NFL.
Yes.
All right,
So you're talking about a team that already ran so well, now they're running better.
I'm looking at the question. I know he
we're
plays on the team, but it says, how confident are you in Lamar?
Okay, and now let's focus on a new question. Steven. Elsewhere in the AFC, Josh Allen and the Buffalo
You're
Bills,
0 for 1.
and that's with a PH, who hope to turn their franchise's Super Bowl fortunes, take their first step when they host rookie Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos, who have exceeded expectations this season under Sean Payton. Elle, I realize you're a Broncos fan, but what's the better story here?
I'm not being biased when I say this
Here
either.
we go.
I can't even believe this is a question. It's clearly Bo Nix. I do not discount what Josh Allen is doing. And I know what you're going to say, Dan, because clearly you're choosing Josh Allen, not surprising to anyone, and I get it. What he's been able to do, he didn't have Stephon Diggs. Look how great this offense is. He's playing MVP level. I get all that. He's great. Guess who we always outlook as a preseason favorite to win MVP? Josh Allen. So essentially, Josh Allen is doing exactly what you would expect Josh Allen to do.
That's wrong.
Bo Nix, however, is on a Broncos team whose total win was set at 4 preseason. He was the 6th quarterback taken off the board. The Broncos were in total shambles, and let's be honest, I know that they don't have a Stephon Diggs in Buffalo anymore, but he's got more talented weapons than Bo Nix has. And alas, he's taken a team that hasn't not only sniffed the playoffs since they won the Super Bowl, but had a winning season since they won the Super Bowl, and he has them in the postseason. This is a remarkable story, and I don't think, and I'm not saying that because I'm a Broncos fan. You didn't see this coming. He had 11-1 odds to be Rookie of the Year before the season started. He's not going to win it this year, but he is in the conversation. That is not anything. Nobody saw the Broncos as a playoff team, not even close. Did you see Josh Allen as the number 2 seed in the AFC? Would you outlook that at the beginning of the year? You didn't.
I didn't.
You thought that Diggs leaving was going to be that, it was going to be that detrimental to Josh Allen.
Yeah, I thought they would get in, but I did not think that they would be the 2 seed. I thought Denver flirting with the playoffs. You have a Denver Broncos jacket in the green room, by the way.
That's my dad's.
That might be worse.
Then tell me why. Tell me why Josh Allen's story is better than Bo Nix's story.
Because you made the comment, Josh Allen is doing this year what everyone expects him to do. You know what's the one thing he didn't do this year that everyone expects him to do? Give the ball away. Josh Allen has changed the way that he plays. He's taken the one flaw, at least in other people's eyes, that has been a part of his game and said, I can still be the unbelievably productive quarterback that scores 40 or 50 or values 40 or 50 touchdowns a season, but I won't give the ball away anymore. And I won't take the sacks that I've had as a part of my game in the past anymore. He's got the best win of the season, knocking off the undefeated Kansas City Chiefs, who would probably have gone undefeated if they did not lose to Buffalo.
Who would have lost to the Broncos, courtesy of a good performance from Bo Nix, as they blocked a field goal.
That was 100% coached by the way that they did that.
Okay.
They were an 8-9 football team last year.
A losing football team.
They're 10-7.
And in the postseason.
And they have the number 2 defense in football. And they have 2 cats that are defensive player of the year candidates on defense, and he went with the Hall of Fame coach.
Denver's been had a good defense, Dan. They've been had a good defense, and it has not resulted in wins.
They're not 14-3. They're 10-7.
With a rookie quarterback that was the 6th one taken off the board.
With a Hall of Fame coach. Who
people wanted to throw away after his first year in Denver.
And people were wrong in that. So
you're saying that it's a better story for Josh Allen because he's cut down on his turnovers? Well, if that's the case, then just give it to Lamar because he has 4, which is a career low.
No, Lamar's 4 interceptions. He has more turnovers than Josh. What I'm saying is, if we went back, and I don't remember exactly when Steph was traded chronologically, we go to the day after, and you tell me, well, Buffalo's going to be the 2 seed. The day after Steph was traded, everyone being no shot. They're going to take a step back. Josh specifically is going to take a step back because he's losing his number 1 receiver. There's no question about it. And that would have been rightfully so to have been said. The fact that Stephen A.'s a great point, that he loses Steph and Gabe Davis and has the best season of his career, that's the story.
That, to me, I agree with Dan on that, Elle. I agree with Dan on that because, listen, I get where you're coming from because Bo Nix is a rookie, and I get.
Shannon Sharp agrees with you, Elle.
You know, of course, Shannon. Shannon agrees with anything.
Yeah, I was a
No, Shannon
Broncos
always
fan
agrees
too.
with you.
Thanks,
No,
Shannon.
Denver. I want them to Denver.
Yeah, he's
I
all
want them- They got
Broncos. He's
soft
all
spot for Denver.
Broncos.
Bronco Nation. This is what he is. Okay, but here's the deal: when you look at the Denver Nuggets, Denver Broncos, Bo Nix is listen. What you really want to say about Bo Nix, outside of the fact that he's a rookie, is that he isn't what Russell Wilson was there.
Sure.
And I'm not talking about just numbers. I'm talking about a quarterback that you root for. I'm not throwing shade on Russell Wilson, but when he was in Denver, it was different rules for him than it was for other people, and it alienated a lot of people and a lot of teammates. And Sean Payton had to walk in there and clean things up. He had his own office. He had his own entrance to the building, for crying out loud. He was completely detached from his teammates if you listen to what these people have said about him. They did not like him, okay? Bo Nix comes up in there and you rally the troops around you as a rookie. That in and of itself is miraculous, and he deserves a lot of credit for that. But think about what we were saying about the Buffalo Bills. Sean McDermott was on a hot seat coming into the season. People had enough. Bills Mafia, like, you got to get something done. Josh Allen, you lose Stephon Diggs, you lose Gabe Davis, okay? You see, you got a lot of turnover on the defensive side of the ball. They weren't the same team. We were talking about the Jets. We were all stupid in that regard because we thought that the Jets would make some noise, and that didn't happen. The Miami Dolphins, we know they're allergic to playing in cold weather. You think I'm bad? I ain't got nothing on them, okay? These dudes, I mean, it's lower than 70 degrees, and they got a problem playing football. So we know that about the Dolphins, right? But we didn't expect the Bills to be this. And when you look at what and this is before he acquired Amari Cooper. When you look at what he was doing even before he acquired Amari Cooper and how he had been playing and the fact that once again he's in the MVP conversation and we're looking at the Bills as the number 2 seed. And then we take into account how he's 0-3 against Patrick Mahomes, okay? In the playoffs. They've got 5 playoff losses in the 10 playoff games that Josh Allen has played. Do you know that the defense has given up more than 31 points in those 5 losses?
I do.
Do you know that Josh Allen has accumulated an average of 338 yards in those 5 losses? This brother shows up. The defense hasn't shown up. So when I think about all of those things, and I think about the way that he played this year, I'd say that Josh Allen is the better story than Bo Nix.
Well, if it's all about giving it to guys who have a bad defense and a great offense, give it to Joe Burrow. And also, how many playoff teams
Well, they're not maybe if he was in the playoffs, we would.
How many
playoffs,
playoff teams are in the AFC East? I was just wondering.
1.
Okay. And how many are in the AFC West?
3.
All right.
Yeah, the Bo Nix story is fantastic.
Okay.
I'm not minimizing
So Bo
that at all.
had to beat playoff teams consistently. Now, he didn't beat.
All right, so this is the one team that is the playoff team in the AFC East. What would be the number 1 reason why you would say that team is that one team in the AFC East?
Let's move it on.
Why do you do that to me?
I mean, if you guys want to answer the question.
You make your point.
We all made your point. We got to agree to disagree on this one. We get it.
You good.